everybody. Welcome back to the Intuitive Life Coach. This is your host, Angie, and another happy 2023 to you all. I am super excited about today's episode, but in particular, what all it has to share and the intuitive hits I have been getting about the energy moving forward. Before I jump into that, though, I just want to give a couple announcements. One, I want to shout out to all of my 15-day meditation challenge participants and how they have really allowed this experience to help transform their life as they have dove into it. In particular, I had a message today that's really just touched my heart of someone that is going through it. And I'm always so encouraged to hear how people are like opening up to new things or hearing things in their spirit or understanding things from new perspectives. And I also am just blessed to be a part of that. Sometimes it's funny when people come to thank you for what you've done. You also feel very thankful that you've had the opportunity. And I know that's how I feel whenever I see people transforming or healing because of something that came through my spirit. Like that just was something I was meant to do. So I also want to take the time to announce that Composting the Ego is officially in the final stages. It is with the editor. She's doing the first edit. I will probably get it back this next week. I will look through it. We will do a second edit and then a third. And then I didn't think I would have this book published until March. But I think I might actually have it published in February, you guys. I am so excited. And this book, Composting the Ego, is, wow, you guys, it was an interesting book to read or to write because in the process of writing it, I also was checking in with myself and my ego and trying to write through my intuition and my highest self instead of like kind of going on tangents based on what I believe and just listening to what the spirit wanted to say. There were times throughout the book I did find myself going on tangents and writing very long chapters. And I will tell you, I went back and deleted all of it. It was somewhat painful in some of those times, but it also was freeing for me because I knew that what was going to come out of it and the end results of the book was going to be exactly what the spirit wanted instead of what my programmed ego was trying to convince either myself or other people to believe, which comes back into even, it's just not religion, you guys. We are programmed in so many ways in society to believe and think certain ways. And until we take the time to evaluate those parts of our lives and let ourselves see them, there's not really any way to even be aware that we need to change things, or if we don't need to change it, like how to make it better. So awareness is, such an important tool that we are given, and our higher self is always trying to connect with us. But if we're not taking the time to compost our ego, then we are not really going into that part of ourself of allowing the spirit to speak and use us. And I will say that will guide me directly into today's message, or what the episode's going to be about. So as we all know, we just had a full moon last night. The energy was a little crazy. I felt it. If you felt it, then I hope that you have given yourself a little bit of grace, as we had lots of stuff happening between the full moon, Mercury being in retrograde, and Mars in retrograde. Y'all, I like retrogrades, like particularly Mercury retrograde. when I found out about it several years ago, I did notice how it would shift things in my life, or I would like be tempted to do things, or like the communication would be off, or things would happen. But this time, whoa, you guys, it's been a battle for me, but I also think it's because I'm in Aries and Mars is in retrograde and I'm a Cancer rising, and the moon's energy was super, super strong being in Cancer. So I was triple hit by the energies happening. And I am glad the full moon's over, but I'm also very excited for what the energy of the moon allowed us to shift into, I think, if we trusted the process, which I'm going to share. I will say, if you're a little coming into the newness of your spiritual understanding or spiritual awakening and new to intuitive messages, this episode may be a little interesting for you. But I am going to share the intuitive message that I received and about what is currently happening and how it will be able to push us forward if we allow it. But also the energy I kind of sense of what's going to move forward in 2023. It's going to be exciting, you guys, if you allow it. So here is the message I received. I actually got a vision of a person, probably, particularly me, but I think you could put yourself in this position. Imagine that you are at the ocean and you go out far enough where you can't touch and you're swimming, and a sudden wave comes with an undercurrent that pulls you deep down under the ocean. Now imagine if you've never had this happen, which I have, it is terrifying. I literally thought I was going to die when this happened. I'm not kidding. Like, I could not get back to the top. Like, the current just kept pulling me under and under and under, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die here. But I didn't. Clearly, I'm here. Maybe. Anyways, that's super woo-woo. Anyways, so when you are being pulled underneath a current of a wave, it is scary. It is dark. It is, it kind of provokes you to fight against the current and want to get back to where you have your breath. And there is this worry of like, you're not going to make it out. And so this is what the message I received was about. There is a current energy happening, in particular for those who are ready for this enhancement in their life, of being pulled down into the depths of the darkness, of shadows of things yet to be healed and exposed, and opening us back up to the repressed energies that we have hidden or closed off to in the pits of our knowing. Like deep, like I even get a sensing of it's deep, deep down into our sacral and root chakras, like the grounding of who we are. Now, we are spirit. We are eternal beings living a human life. And so there is a inner knowing. There's a part of us in our subconscious that is always trusting the divine, is always connected to divine, is always being led by the divine. And in the energy of trusting and allowing, things flow much easier for us. So if you can imagine being under a wave, and that wave actually being like crashing against everything you have known to be hidden deep inside of you and pulling it out of you, like surfacing it. It may not feel great to do these things, to actually go deep within and allow the energy to wipe these things out. Now, when I say wipe out, it doesn't mean that the what that energy brought into our life is completely gone. It's more of an enhancement of releasing the control or the darkness of it and allowing light to shine it so that it can be used for good, much like the composting of the ego. So in the allowing of the current to pull you under, there's a deep, deep healing that can occur if you allow it. Now, there's two ways to go about this undercurrent that might be happening in your energy and your spirit that is pushing up against a couple areas in your life. You can either allow the energy to flow and take you through the process, or you can fight against it. And I will say that fighting against the current, as I did when in the actual experience of being underneath the ocean undercurrent, is exhausting. If you allow the process to happen, it will move much more quickly. And when you get to the top, you are not going to be as tired. So releasing the fear, releasing the control, releasing the need to fight against these things and allowing them to happen is going to bring a wave of relief in areas for you. But that energy is going to actually propel you into the next phase of your life. As if when you trust the undercurrent to take you back up above the surface of the water, that wave is going to pick you up and carry you to where you are meant to be. It is almost as if you are walking into the ocean on one shore and being swept up on another in a different area. It does not mean that there is going to be like particularly a physical move in your life. Maybe there are people that are going to be physically moving in the next year, but this is a shifting into a purpose that has been held back because of the undercurrent and the inner fears, the inner darkness that we hold deep within, that we maybe have pushed away, that we have not even known continue to affect our life in any way. So when the current comes to cleanse this energy and we allow it to bring us out of this process and carry us back into the surface to where we're meant to be, there's going to be a new understanding of how to step into the calling and abundance that you are meant to bring onto the earth. Now, there are going to be people that do not allow the process to happen. And I don't want to discourage people from still allowing the process of healing to happen, because even if it takes longer and you are fighting against it in some sense, I do believe that you will be carried back up. It just may look much different for some people than others. The second half of my message I received was I had a vision of a starfish. And if you know much about starfish, if they lose one of their little legs, they can actually grow it back. But what's really amazing about a starfish is that leg that might be completely not part of the body anymore can actually grow an entire body. So what is also amazing about the little starfish, or the big, whatever it is that it reconnects the neuro energy in it, so the memories in it, but connected back into like fullness and completion. So, and I believe that this is one of the only animals that actually regrow those parts of themselves in the process of regrowth. And what I heard and am currently hearing about the process of the regrowth is that some people are going to be shedding small things in their life and some big. And again, allowing the process is going to be what helps you get through this, either by fighting and exhausted or trusting and being in a flowing energy of healing. So this is much like the parts that are being healed deep within us that are going to reprogram our understanding of who we are in the world around us. It is actually an energy shift in frequency and coming into a higher dimension of growth, healing, and understanding of who you were meant to be on the earth. And I also had received some insight about 2023. I don't believe this is going to come into completion this year, but the beginning phases of it is happening. I'm kind of in my spirit, I'm hearing 5 years or more, but there is going to be a shifting in the energy globally, as we've already seen happening with awakenings happening all over the earth. But this global shifting is going to seem much like a split in energy. And I think we've already seen some of that happening, but it's been where some people are still living in one energy and the other, like they have their foot in both energies, but some people are going to step out of one energy and fully into the other. And there'll be people that don't. But there's also people that have not started their awakening process and have not even began to take that step into the next energy frequency. So what I heard is this could be considered much like a rapture, what is happening. So not in actually deaths, not Jesus coming back and taking all of the people that accepted him and only the people that believe in him and the Christians, whatever you want to call that, the people that believe these things. I know for myself, being in religion for a long time, I did have these thoughts that there was going to be a rapture and that Jesus would then come back and take just the Christians and the other people would be left behind. I don't know, would they be left behind just to die on the earth and go to hell, I guess. But anyways, that's a side note. That is totally my ego talking. But getting back into the energy of my intuition, I am sensing a shifting of the energy in which there is going to be kind of like a left behind, but the left behind is not going to be seen or known in the way that we might have considered it to be. Like there's going to be a need to, in some ways, allow yourself to disconnect from some things that are holding you back, or like part of that wave and that frequency shift is going to bring you into a different heightened awareness. And it's going to actually maybe cause some shifting of energy with relationships. And this is not always an easy process, but it is for the enhancement of global healing is what I'm hearing. I did also hear a message in particular for those who are called to be healers in any capacity, to allow and trust the process of the healing, not only in yourself, but in those who you are supporting, and come back into the understanding that they are their own healer. And there are ways that you can help guide and teach and help, educate people in their healing, but without the awareness of being their own healer, there is not going to be a shift for them like there may be for other people. So being patient in the allowance of understanding that people need to be in a certain energy for a while before they can come out of it, because the lesson has yet to be learned based on that current frequency they hold. And once that understanding or the awakening happens, where they allow that shift to happen, then they will enhance into the next layer of energy and healing. So I particularly believe that there's going to be a need to just trust your intuition and to try not to force the healing for other people, and also to be very gentle with yourself. I know, as particularly for myself as a healer, you have these grand ideas that you want for people, and you want to see things happen in their lives, and you want them to feel better and heal. But some people are not just they're not at that place where they're ready, because they haven't yet embraced where they are. And you have to embrace where you are to be able to move forward. And that means, just as the wave takes us under into that darkness, being able to be where you are and experience it to move forward in some sense. Now, I also am kind of sensing a energy shift in relationships, both an enhancement in connection and a enhancement of spiritual understanding in some sense, where there's so I'm going to say soulmate, but I don't mean soulmate in a way that our program ego sees soulmate. Soulmate, not in the, romantic energy, but as the energies of souls that find each other, that have known each other in prior lives, and an enhancement of ability to, just a frequency of understanding and healing that can happen that will be supportive and beneficial. So if you feel a shifting happening, in particular in a spiritual enhancement or anything like that with anybody, it is just your spirit actually made a contract with their spirit to help push them into their calling and their purpose, and together it's going to be enhanced, and the ability of it manifesting is going to be more fruitful and helpful for more energies, people, souls to be healed or to come back into their true self, is what I'm kind of hearing. So if you are sensing a little bit of a shift happening with people, it's just the spirit trying to break down the programming and the labels that have been placed on how things are meant to be, and connecting back into the highest self where there are no barriers, if that makes sense. I had been seeing in particular I love the tarot deck, the Light Seers Tarot, by Chris Ann. And there's a card particular that has come to my mind many times as I've been listening to these intuitive messages coming through, of the Judgment card. And this is the energy of coming back into yourself, awakening, realigning, coming your higher self, reconnecting. And the energy that I am picking up on the card is that wave that is happening. The card it has a woman on it that has a spirit coming up out of her. If you can look up the Judgment card for the Light Seers Tarot, you might be able to see what I'm talking about. But it's almost as her soul, she's just letting it come out of her. It's just being pulled up out of her, and the card is blue. And so it really represents to me in this particular intuitive message, like the releasing of the old and stepping into the new, like connecting back into the highest self. So the shifting of energy and even the frequency level of what you hold. So I sense that as all this comes together, if we allow these things to move and to be what they're meant to be, like as the spirit and the universe kind of propels us into these new places in our lives, allowing and trusting is going to be one of the biggest things that you will have to have, and like you will have to keep in mind as you move forward into this year. Because if you do, there's going to be a big enhancement. Like I see many people stepping into their callings a little bit more with like less fear, I guess, and an energy of abundance, I guess, is what I'm also feeling. And when I say abundance, I'm not just particularly talking about money. I'm talking about like just all areas of the life, like enhancing who we are as people, particularly even love, like being able to love at a different frequency level, and that going back into that healer energy, like letting people be where they are, understanding that they're in their process as well. And just being a guide, like just kind of like how our guides are for us. Like they don't force themselves on us, but they do help us when we ask. So, but it's that asking that opens the door for the healing. And so, the first step is always that ask, but then there's another step of like not obedience. Like I don't mean like you have to do it, but like action, I guess I would say. So if you resonate with this message and you feel yourself going through a deeper healing where there's some things being pulled up out of you, just know that this is the spirit trying to take you where you're meant to be. And if you're in a place where you're not ready for it, it's okay as well. Just, be where you are. Also, if you don't resonate with this message, then there might be something else for you. But I do in particular have a sensing that those who are ready to enhance and grow and become more aligned with their calling, purpose, and highest self are going to be going through this kind of shift of energy. But it's going to come through that wave of darkness that has to be exposed and healed. And it's going to be completely up to you on how quickly that happens and how it happens. So, all right. Well, that is what I have been hearing in my spirit for this current intuitive message. And if you are in a place where you would like support in wherever you are, I do have some current openings for one-on-one. In particular, I have a couple clients that I've been with for quite a while that might be transitioning out in the future, but I will have more openings probably later in the year as I move forward as well. But please reach out. I really do want to see everybody coming into their abundance of life, whatever that means to you. And also, if you just want just one session, or if you just want an energy reading or any kind of a reading, I do those as well. Like I have a way that you can book a 30-minute session with me and we can chat over Zoom, and I can kind of give you a little insight of what's going on in your energy. And just a heads up, I am a healer, so the readings that I particularly focus on do have to do with like enhancing you, like kind of exposing areas that might need to be released so that you can move forward. But it's only the spirit that, like, I say that because a lot of people, I noticed that some people will get on a reading and they'll want to hear what they want to hear. And then when I tell them something different, they keep coming back, but. So, my purpose and my calling in life is to enhance the ability to see and know what needs to be released so you can step into your highest self, and to be the guide and messenger that provides the intuitive understanding of what is happening in the energy, and, individually or in collectively. And so I'm excited to see what happens as I move through my own wave. I have felt it. There have been some crazy things happening. I mean, it's just, I love watching how things synchronize and move together. But sometimes you're like, what are you doing, Spirit? Like, that was crazy, but exciting. And I'm so happy. But so like, oh my gosh, is this real? Anyways, we just have to trust. We just have to trust. Like the leaf in the stream, like in my book, in my vision, just trust, lay back, and it will carry you where you're meant to be and through your healing. And it will be totally worth it. So I am going to wish you all the best day, night, evening, whatever it is for you at this moment. Send you all the universal love that there is. Namaste.